abundance, 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 and gratitude to all. Y'all really don't understand what's really taking place. But the people, or the ones that at least got two brain cells communicating with one another, understand and understand this shit ain't about North Korea, South Korea, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, the Palestinian people, the Israeli people. This ain't got shit to do with none of that shit right there. This is going to come down to the sun, genetics, and children. Sun, genetics, and children. And it's a certain group of people on this planet that is directly connected biologically, not just to the sun, but the entire cosmos. And there is a other group of people on this planet that was genetically modified using different animals on this planet, their DNA, to make one living organism, which is just so happened to be unnatural. Okay, though, continue to play dumb. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
This is Dabu7, and we actually have some pretty big information here pertaining to Atlas. The images just keep getting better in terms of what the other astronomers out there are supplying. Anything coming from NASA is just fuzzy, it's garbage, and they're in damage control mode big time. Their live stream that was supposed to debunk any rumors out here of this thing being anything but a comet did not go well at all. They dropped the ball and they handed off to the next person time after time, trying to cover and regurgitate what the person before them said, and gave the crappiest images you've ever seen. I mean, the main image looks like somebody went out on a foggy night with a street light and took a picture of it. And we have way better detail coming from all these other astronomers, like what you see here on the screen. Now, first off, the one on the right and central to the image here, this is a new stack by Jaeger, Raymond, and Prosperi. And they just dropped a bomb with this. Because when you zoom in and you can look from far away, you can tell that there's two razor straight jets shooting sideways, creating a perfect X. Perfect X. Not aligned with the sun, not aligned with radiation pressure. Then we have another image on the left, taken by someone completely different. And again, talk about matches and seeing an X type of formation in the core of this. This is a 20-minute composite on the left by Space Tracker. Okay? 20-minute build of 3i Atlas, and the results are nothing like a normal comet. And that's all NASA wanted to say out the gate, is it looks like a normal comet, acts like a normal comet. That was a lie, and that was a lie. Right out the gate. Everybody knows it's not normal. It doesn't look normal, hasn't acted normal. So they lied, fumbled over the words, gave us some fuzzball crap. And our guys out there fighting for the truth are coming up with images like what you see here, with details that defy any explanation. You get a perfectly symmetric, star-shaped core, a plasma-like bloom out of it, and it has no defined tail anywhere in the frame. Now, a stack like this should smear the jets out, not reveal a geometric halo, so to speak, unless the object is rotating extremely fast or carrying multiple active sources. That's the comments made by the astronomers out there that are getting these images. You've got two fresh stacks still building off of this crazy jet structure that we've seen that Avi Loeb pointed out, and we have no definitive anything on this from NASA or any of the professional space agencies, because it's never a straight answer from them. And you even have Tim Burchett of Tennessee, congressman, saying that this thing is no comet or meteorite. Interesting. Oh, and today just so happens to be the day that they're dropping disclosure, soft disclosure. It's the beginning of an ongoing event, and from what I've seen, You need to check it out because they're dropping the breadcrumbs like this. And they're going to approach the government and get the government to come out and make this big statement after these breadcrumbs are dropped. Join me for the live stream where I can break this down in greater detail Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's on. Much love.
Until you simple-minded people literally be honest about your existence on this planet, that there is no scientific, biological explanation on how you came into existence other than something with intelligence that know how to splice and electrofuse genes together to make a living organism. Until you are all honest with that, you should not be concerned about any fucking thing else that's going on the planet. Talk about soft disclosure about UFOs and their existence. What about your disclosure? This is the whole problem right here. You just like so-called black people. You all are trained to look at everything else and focus on everything else but how you came into existence. And you have trained so-called black people to look at everything else except for internally and how we are genetically made up. Point blank and simple. You have taught us to do that. Look for God for truth. Look for, if something go wrong, it's the devil. If something go wrong, it's the devil and people working for the devil. If you need to be a better person, you need better education. If you need to be someone with some type of status on this planet, you need to have a certain amount of money. You need to have this. You need to have that. You need to have this, that, and the third. And all of that shit has to do with outwardly. If you want to be a good person, you got to look for Allah. You got to look for Yahweh. You got to look for the Most High. You got to look for Jesus. You got to look for Muhammad. Everything is external. Nothing. And then the shit that's external is all made up because you don't say, look at nature. Look at how the tree look how trees and plants communicate with each other. Look at how they get their food. Look at how they grow. What do they do majority of the time? Look at nature. Look at what ants do. Look at what wasps do. Look at what honeybees do. Look at what hippopotamus do. Look at what lions do. Look at what gazelles do. Look at what buffaloes do. You don't say any of that shit. Look what the fishes do. Look at what the orchids do. Look at what dolphins do. Look at how whales live. You don't say any of that bullshit. None of that. Only time you want us to look at nature is when it comes to the unnatural animals that you have created. The cat, the fucking dog, the fucking donkey, all bullcrap stuff that you yourself like to sleep with and do sexual devious things with. That's it. You don't have black so-called black people, you don't even understand. Even if you was to pay attention to natural nature, you will start to come into your memory. Elephants, you would say, look how elephants live. You understand? You would sit there and be like, wow. You would literally come back into who you truly are and start to remember yourself. But they got you looking at the damn dog. They got you looking at the fucking cat. You understand what I'm saying? They got you looking at the dog more than the cat. You understand what I'm saying? Because the cat actually has some sense, although it may be genetically spliced. It has some fucking sense. But just think about this shit, and it's sad. And then they want to talk about UFOs and other life forms, but they don't want to speak about the life form and which created them. They all know or believe that something created them on this planet. And this is what's going to be the shock of their lives, because they want black people or so-called black people to be just like them, genetically, anatomically, emotionally, physically. They want us to be just like them. And this is the one thing that I'm always going to say. Your genealogy is directly connected to your psychological state of mind. That's why they could never be us and we would never be them. Abundance and gratitude to all. Disclose the truth about you and how you really feel about your fucking existence, and stop worrying about who's flying around a goddamn sun. You understand? Because that shit is meaningless.